All right, welcome to Ringer Wise Guys Friday edition. Look at this, everybody's here. Joe House, Raheem Palmer, Anthony Dabbundo, and myself. Yes, we make up the Wise Guys. Big show today. AFC South preview, plays of the day. We're coming off a fun night on the gridiron. We won real money on make-believe football. I hit my baseball pick. I went 2-0 yesterday. Raheem, you really scored. Go ahead and flex a little for the Twitch audience, Dream.
Well, I mean, on this show, we did cash the Titans -4.5. We cashed the Titans on the money line, and we also cashed the Los Angeles Chargers +1.5. But I did a little parlay of that and a couple of other games, so I did pretty well for myself, and hopefully you guys did too.
It came out nice. He showed us there were 4 numbers before the period, and there was a comma in there. It was really good. Raheem's not going to be happy till there's 2 or 3 commas in there, but good enough. Dabbundo, you didn't fare as well, but we don't have to talk about your night. But your favorite team won the Field of Dreams game, so that's fun.
Well, it's funny because I took Cincinnati on the money line. I took Cincinnati -3 at the opener, and I took Cincinnati -3.5 on the show. So when they're up 10 with about a minute to go, I'm like, all right, I might lose the 3.5, but I'll push the 3. We'll be fine. Even if they score a touchdown here, money line will be fine. And then, of course, no, it would be too simple if the game ended 16-13. Detroit said, F it, like we said on the show yesterday. We're going for 2, 16-14, and I lost all my spread bets on the Bengals.
There were Raheem, there were 3 bad beats / bet aches last night, just in the Thursday action. Just gets everyone prepared. That's how you have to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you had the Patriots money line, I mean, that was crazy. You got a 60-yard field goal from the Colts in order to tie that game. But I mean, really, the Colts should have won that game. The Colts had 4 turnovers, so it's preseason football. Anything can happen.
Yes, but we are going to look at the regular season and the postseason, House. We're going to do this. Now, you were a little annoyed a bit before the podcast. You're like, AFC South. But I can't tell if it's your discontent with the AFC South or the fact that you could be golfing right now.
Well, I am not discontent because I will be golfing soon enough. The AFC South has some real opportunities for us to make money. I honestly prefer this the most out of all of the divisions we've done. We've done the AFC East and the AFC North, finally to a place where I think there's some opportunity. My only issue is with Dabbundo saying we finally got to a division with one of his teams, and he was all fired up. Now, of course, Dabbundo roots for about 4 different NFL teams, so that was why I expressed anything other than pure enthusiasm. But you can tell I'm ready to roll for this situation.
You're ready. I'm ready. I can kind of hear you, I think. So let's proceed. This is Ringer Wise Guys, presented by FanDuel. Football season is back, and there's never been a better time to get in the game because FanDuel is giving rewards all season long. Whether picking a champion or building future same-game parlays, FanDuel has you covered. The app is fast, easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. Head to FanDuel.com/gamblers to get started today. You have to be 21 or older in select states, 18 or older in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Not with your team, Dabbundo, with the Houston Texans. So now a couple of these over-unders, Raheem alerted me to this, and rightly so. They are right in the middle. They don't make it easy right here for you. Houston is one of them. The over-under is 9.5. If you go over, it's -140. If you go under, it's +120. Or you go 10.5. The under is -140. The over is +120. You guys know what I'm talking about. To make the playoffs, the Texans are -190. To win the division, they're +115. Conference +750. Super Bowl 17-1. They were 12-5 last season. They won their last 9 regular season games. They beat up on Aaron Rodgers and absolutely defecated all over the bed in New England, and that was that. Their win total sits at 9.5 or 10.5, like I said. But you get plus money if you go under 9.5 or over 10.5. House, either of those interest you?
Yes, indeed, Cousin Sal. I love this Houston Texans team. This is the 3rd straight year where the opening line in terms of wins was 9.5. And I wonder, I'm going to say this out loud, have we been showing enough respect to this Texans organization? They have exceeded that win total at each of the past 3 seasons since the arrival of C.J. Stroud. And this team goes into the playoffs, the wild card round, and bust ass. I mean, they beat the hell out of teams in that wild card third round. And very quietly, they have assembled a team that I think is absolutely loaded coming into this 2026 NFL season. 3 straight years of winning at least 10 games and a game in the playoffs. Last year, they were a preseason favorite in only 9 of the 17 games, and then they went over their win total and won 12 games. And this was with an offense that was not firing on all cylinders. They never really recovered from the fact that Joe Mixon was out for the season as the first game arrived. And this was an efficient offense. They got to the red zone and converted with field goals, which is why Anthony Dabbundo made a ton of money for himself and for all of the listeners that were paying attention by playing Houston Texan unders last season. The Texans under was one of the best bets, at least through the first 10 weeks of the season. But I think this team, with the offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, they have established a mix of run and pass. The David Montgomery addition cannot be understated, overstated, whichever is the appropriate word. I think it's huge for them, and I think it really will unleash what Caley wants to do with CJ Stroud. They already did the most important thing, which is protect CJ Stroud. He took 50 less hits last season, and they have him lining up behind center quite a bit. And so the sack rate is down a little bit as well. I think that this team we know the defense is elite. The schedule is not terrible. I have them well over 10.5 at plus 120.
All right, so you're taking the plus money, and I agree with the David Montgomery pickup there. That should solve a few of their red zone woes, at least down low there. Dabbundo, before we get to Raheem, you are taking the same number over, so plus money at the Texans over 10.5, and that doesn't give you much wiggle room to take the Colts to win the division, but we'll learn in a second. Go ahead. What do you like?
I do not think my Colts are going to win the division, but, House, you made the point. It was the red zone. I mean, the biggest battle in all of football last year was the Houston Texans versus first and goal. In goal-to-goal situations, they were 31st in the NFL. In the red zone, they were 30th in EPA per play. I mean, it was terrible. And when they got down in the condensed formations, they kept trying to run it, and they kept failing miserably. They had multiple sequences of first and goal at the 1. They had one possession, I forget which game, where it took them 8 tries to finally punch it in from the 1-yard line with a DPI thrown in there. They did make some changes in the second half of the season. They went jumbo more. They tried to play more max protect. They tried to do anything to protect this offense, but they really got too run happy early in games and on early downs. Like, they ran the ball at the highest rate in the league on first down, and they stunk. So it was like 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 10, and they were just behind the chains the whole game. They didn't get anything from Nico Collins like we expected, because he missed time and wasn't as effective as I think he can be when he's fully healthy. The connection he has with Stroud, they're bringing along some of their younger pass catchers that got more run last year. It all comes down, though, to the offensive line. And I am not an expert on offensive lines. I typically consult with the fellow experts who do. They've changed quite a bit personnel-wise. It can't be worse, but is it actually better? And that's the question I don't really know. I mean, the prognosticators on this don't really think so. They still think it's a bottom 5 group. Despite that, CJ Stroud was around league average to above average last year. Don't get too biased by 2 bad playoff games. We're talking about regular season here. I think they're still, with that defense, comfortably an 11-win team if the offense could just be 17th, 18th. They had the lowest margin to defeat in the NFL last year, which just shows you they were in every game, never got blown out. And with that, you have more margin.
Raheem, Stroud had an interesting year. Definitely would not have gotten to the playoffs without him, but I think a career low 217 yards per game. But to be honest, we're betting on their defense here, and they extended Will Anderson, they extended Donnell Hunter, and that's it. They get home without blitzing. That seems to be the secret recipe there. But you are going over. You're taking a little bit of a coward's way out here with the over with the smaller
I'm
number,
a little
right?
bit of a coward. I'm playing it on the safe side. And one of the reasons why is because if you look at your schedule, and it's not the toughest schedule in the world, but you're starting off the season with Buffalo and Cincinnati. Then you go on the road to Indianapolis. Then you go play Dallas. You play Tennessee, then you go to London to play Jacksonville. And I think that's a tough spot to start the season off. And ideally, if we weren't doing this exercise, I would tell everybody, hey, wait for the first couple of games and then jump in and get a better number on the over. So I'm going to take the over 9.5. House and Dabbundo mentioned it. It's about the defense. I mean, they've allowed only 17.5 points per game last year in the NFL. And if you look at the games against the Rams and the Bills, they held the Rams to 14 points. The Rams were an offensive juggernaut last year. So that tells you how good this defense is. I'm a little concerned about the offensive line. Obviously, you do add Wyatt Teller and a bunch of other guys, but they've been playing musical chairs with this offensive line for quite some time. So who knows if it's fixed, but either way, we know that this defense is good enough to get them where they need to be. So let's go over.
And this defense, I think it's the most talented defense in the NFL. You could debate, Seattle. I love Mike McDonald, of course, one of my other teams. House, as you're aware. You could debate Philly maybe in the mix, Denver in the mix. I think this is from top to bottom, front to back, the most talented group. They didn't even have to blitz last year, and they still had the highest pressure rate in the NFL. They're as dominant as any defense.
That's as close to being able to have 12 men on the field as right. I mean, I don't know an advantage like that even on offense that we don't have to blitz and now make the quarterbacks do the work. But all right. So everyone is in agreement here, and they're young and they're all signed. And 10.5, and over 9.5 are the picks for Houston. We go to Jacksonville. To make the playoffs, they are minus 102. To win the division, they're plus 220. The conference 14-1, and to win the Super Bowl is 30-1. They were the 2025 division champs, 13-4. What? The Jaguars? Are you kidding me? Yes, they were. They won their last 8 regular season games. They brought a ton of respect to the division, along with the Texans. They played Buffalo very tough, but lost the lead, I think, with like 3 or 4 minutes left, and that was that for their efforts. They're placed squarely in that 500 range. House 8.5 is their win total. You going over or under?
Yeah, it's crazy. This number opened at 9.5 and then dipped to the 8.5 where it's currently available. And you look at that and say, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? The team won not only the division, it won 13 games last season. And we saw Trevor Lawrence take that step up that everybody's been asking for. And the combination of Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen looks like something like those guys got on the same page. There was some synchronicity there. I'm worried that this Jacksonville team is a little high on its own supply, and there has been eyebrows raised, questions asked about this general manager that they have. They lost 4 starters, including arguably their best defensive and offensive players to free agency. Devin Lloyd, who had 5 interceptions last season, when moved on to Carolina, and Travis Etienne, 1,400 scrimmage yards, 11 touchdowns. He's now with New Orleans. And we didn't really see Jacksonville do much to replace that talent. Chris Rodriguez comes from the Washington team. Good luck with that. They're going to have a backfield that's Mr. Tootin and Mr. Rodriguez. I guess that's going to be backfield by committee. But I understand the skepticism and the basis for the drop in wins. I think that 8.5 is a bit too shy, and so I have this ridiculous thing. I will confess, I looked online to see if I could bet exactly 9 wins. That market isn't out there. I do think that this team with Cohen and Trevor Lawrence is a step forward, but I have them sort of losing 4 more games. The schedule is decidedly tougher. And the single biggest thing, and the boys will get to it, is the turnover regression. They went from being the worst team in the NFL in terms of the defense producing turnovers in 2024 to near the very tippy top. They generated a ton of turnovers. Good job by that defense, by that. But we all know that turnovers have a tendency to regress quite a bit. They're not sticky from year to year. And if you're counting on that as the fulcrum for this defense to be effective, then you're staring at a problem situation. And I think that's built into this number. So I have them over 8.5 and under 9.5, exactly 9 wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You will be able to hit that in a couple weeks. FanDuel will have exact wins available for sure. Yeah, Raheem, when I look at regression teams, these aren't the only 2 metrics, but How'd you do in turnover differential last year? House mentioned it. I think they had the second most interceptions with 22. And how many one-score games did you win? They won 6. So that was all in their favor. Which way you going, over or under the 8.5?
Yeah, I'm going under. It's really hard for me to get there because I think the offense is really tremendous. I mean, ever since they made the trade for Jacoby Myers, I think they have a ton of weaponry. And I mean, obviously you have Brian Thomas, you got Jacoby Myers, and then you got Travis Hunter, who is only playing wide receiver this year. So I think the offense is going to be there. I mean, they scored 27 points per game last year, and Trevor Lawrence finally looked like that franchise quarterback that you need him to be. But I think this bet is all regression. I mean, they had a positive turnover differential at plus 13, 22 interceptions. They were 6-3 in one-score games. You look at that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, where the Chiefs were down at the 1-yard line, and they throw a pick 6 and they end up winning that game based off that play. So that was the microcosm of their season, and we know that doesn't repeat itself. We saw with the Cowboys a couple years ago. But last time we made the playoffs, we generated all those turnovers. The next year, it regressed to the mean. So I'm taking the Jaguars under. I don't love it. If you can get a 9.5, that's probably better. But, you know, this number has already moved, so that tells you where the sharp money is.
Dabbundo, you're agreeing with our guy, Raheem.
Part of me wonders, like, you know, first-year head coach, it's very simple to draw the story and tell the story of like, well, they had some growing pains early on. They played about 500 ball the first, 2 months of the season, 5-4. Remember, they got spanked by the Rams in that London game. We're like, okay, yep, this same old Jags. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have it. And then, the second half of the season, they go on this incredible run. So you're saying, okay, the offense finally clicked. They figured some things out. The defense rounded into form. But also, it was pretty schedule driven. I mean, they got to play Arizona, Tennessee twice, and the Jets coming in 5 of their last 8 games. They had some real wins. I don't want to, discount wins against the Chargers and the Broncos where their offense completely smothered those teams. But it starts with the run game. This offense started being efficient when the run game was better. And you look at this running back room, and I'm not really convinced by it with Etienne's absence. And then on defense, you guys talked about the turnovers. They were also, by a wide margin, the number 1 turnover EPA team in the red zone defensively last year. So it was a bend, but don't break. And when you look at the bare bones of the defense, they were just 20th in pressure rate. So this is not like a havoc-inducing Pittsburgh Steelers traditionally type team where you have these dominant pass rushers making game-breaking plays. It was just kind of a team that rode its success on those last, ditch turnovers in the red zone. So I think there's a lot of flashing indicators that say, hey, maybe this team isn't quite as good as Houston, for example. And that's why the market has moved down on them. So I went under 8.5 at the current number. It's not like my favorite play in the world because I do think them and Indy are going to end up right around the same number of wins again. But that's kind of where I feel about the Jags. I'm a little cooler on them, especially defensive.
I was last year, by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm giving picks with Simmons. Maybe nobody's wondering why I'm not giving picks, but August 27, Simmons and I are going to go through all 32 teams. So I'm going to just set the table for these fellas. But last year when Simmons and I sat down, I went over with the Jaguars. I went the Jaguars to win the division, but my reasoning was way, way, way off. Brian Thomas, increases on what he did initially. And Travis Hunter, my God, how great is he going to be? Well, he didn't get to suit up. So I won. Those guys should be on a trajectory to do better. But then you weigh that against everything we just heard from you guys. So under 8.5 for Dabbundo, under 8.5 for Raheem, and right at 9 for House. I love that. I wonder what kind of odds would you get? What do you get odds on that? 3-ish?
Like
6? Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah, I don't know.
Betting
Raheem,
it.
what would they do?
Betting it.
Do it. We're forcing them to put the number up. All right, the time has come, Dabbundo. The Indianapolis Colts, plus 158 to make the playoffs, plus 370 to win the division, 25-1 to win the conference, and 55-1 to win the Super Bowl. Tony Token's pride and joy. Last season, they won 8 of their first 10. And then what happened, Dabbundo?
Various defeats in a row. Yeah.
They lost 7 straight.
We don't like to talk about it. We were the first team to clinch our win total over when they got to 8-1. And then that was it. They said that's.
You
all right,
think
boys.
maybe that was the
we did
goal of
we
the
did our
team?
job.
Maybe that if there was like a Hard Knocks, we could have caught that audio clip somewhere where they're like, we just want to hit our win total and then relax. We don't want anyone to get hurt after that. We'll bring Phil Rivers in to mop
our
up.
quarterback broke his leg, then
Yeah,
tore
that's
his
true.
Achilles. Then the backup quarterback got injured with a stretching band. Then they brought
Right.
in a grandfather to play. And honestly, like it became so jokerified. Like so many of the Colts seasons have been so jokerish at the end of the season. If you go back to 2022, somebody asked me the other day, because I did the Geo Sports trivia, why did you pick a question which was highlighting the fact that the Colts are now the loser of the biggest comeback in NFL history? And I said, I don't acknowledge the Jeff Saturday era. Like, it's not real. And that's how I feel
Right.
about the Phillip Rivers era. It was kind of fun. You know, they were competitive with San Francisco, with Seattle. They scored a bunch of points against the 49ers in that Monday night game, but it wasn't real. Like, once you go to that point, once you're hiring Jeff Saturday, once you're signing Phillip Rivers, you've already given up. You're just doing that for the nostalgia, for the fun of it all. But this team is fascinating. Like, I actually like a lot of the changes they made on defense. I'm curious to get, the more neutral opinion on the team. And like everybody out of camp, Ben Solak's on Twitter every day talking about how great Daniel Jones looks, and he was at camp. So you know what? I'm kind of ready to fall for it again, Sal.
Wow. All right. Well, the Colts are the Vandals kind of ready to fall for it too, but they can't make a decision either because this is one of those split lines where they have it at 7.5. The over is minus 140, or 8.5. The under is minus 140. I'm going to let you go first, though, Tokens. I'm not letting you off the hook here. Daniel Jones is back. What are you doing?
Going over. I think
Which
the Shane
one?
Steichen offense gives you such a high floor that this team should be able to win 8 or 9 games. Now, I'm not sure what the ceiling is because there's still questions about pass rush. We'll get into that. But purely out of an offensive exercise, this is a quarterback who has proven he can play at a pretty high level for 12 weeks. Now, I know that the last 3 or 4 were not as good. He had the broken leg at some point in there. I think it happened against Atlanta. So he played a couple of weeks with a bad leg. The numbers started to fall off. There's some schematic stuff that changed. Teams caught on to what the Colts did. The first, 6 or 7 weeks when they were bludgeoning everybody, it was pass to set up the run. They were early down passing at one of the highest rates in the league. And then teams were like, okay, we get it. We know what you're doing here. We're gonna be a little bit more conservative. We're gonna force you to run the ball. We're gonna force you to be underneath. We're gonna get to Daniel Jones more. But Steichen is so creative. He's so innovative that I expect new wrinkles to emerge from this offense. And they have a lot of the pieces back. I mean, we'll see what the status of Alec Pierce is, but they have a lot of the same pieces that made this offense such a threat. And you put Pierce, Warren, and Downs, there are very few offensive skill groups in the league that are as complementary as those 3 guys, plus Taylor, plus an O-line we know is great. I think this floor is so high offensively that even if people are doing the doomsday scenario, I kind of think they win 8 or 9. The question for the Colts has always been, how do they get to 10 or 11? And that's where this gets a lot harder.
All right. Is it hard, though, Raheem?
It's not
think
hard.
It's not hard.
First things first, this team is starting 0-3.
I disagree. All right, well,
They got Baltimore, Kansas.
We'll do week 1. All right, week 1. I'm going to lock it in right now. Indianapolis Colts plus 3.5 against the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, wow. You couldn't lock
Who's
it in
starting?
silently?
Anthony Richardson?
My God.
No, Daniel Jones is playing. He looks good in camp. He's moving well.
I don't believe it.
I've seen the video.
We're gonna have fun.
I don't believe it either. I find it to be a modern miracle of medicine. Apparently, Neil Elatrash is his father-in-law or something. It's crazy. But
I don't believe that Daniel Jones is going to be 100% week 1 and go out there and be able to beat Baltimore. So if he doesn't, prove it to me. But I think this team is starting 0-3 against Baltimore, Kansas City, and Houston. And for that reason alone, I'm taking the under, and I think we could talk about it from there. But that schedule's going to kill him.
So to
Coming
be
off
clear,
the injury that he has.
we just came on and said I don't remember your opinion on Baltimore, but like I'm a little skeptical of Baltimore. We haven't done the AFC West yet, but I'm not as high on Kansas City as everybody else. The Colts can move the ball on both of those teams.
So the bundle went over 7.5. Raheem, the number you're using is 8.5, right?
Yeah, I'm going 8.5 under.
All right, you're going under. Does your guys, again, I hate to ding teams who did well taking the ball away from the other team, but the Colts house forced a turnover in 15 games, which I think is a record amongst the league. So you're going under as well.
Yeah, I'm glad for the Colts to have found what they found through the first 10 games. It was awesome to watch, the second coming of the greatest team on turf or whatever that is. And all kudos to Steichen. I am here to put respect on that man's name. And the way I'm going to convey that respect is by saying that the Colts are going to win exactly the same number of games as last year in a much worse situation. Dabbundo stole my line. Danny Dimes is going to be a goddamn medical miracle? Are you kidding me? Bro tore his Achilles in December. There's no track record whatsoever of a dude coming back as quickly as this and being effective. I don't see him playing effective football. If they trot his ass out there in these first 4 games or so, this is going to be a super under, because they did nothing to adjust their quarterback room, which was so curious to me. Why didn't they go get some kind of stable? Kirk Cousins was available. Kyler Murray was available. Get somebody in there to tide over until Dimes can come back. He was crazy effective in that offense. It was a true joy to watch. But bro can't play. He tore his Achilles. He's not playing these games. They are underdogs in 9 of their first 11 games. That's because the market does not trust Danny Dimes coming out and playing. And the beginning of the schedule is brutal. I mean, Dream just said it. 0-3 when they play Baltimore, Kansas City, and Houston. They play Washington abroad. They're still underdogs against Washington, underdog against Pittsburgh.
That's crazy. I love that.
Well, I'm just saying
Steichen
it.
against that defense
It's the market.
It's
It's the market. It's the market as we sit here today.
They're going
But
to
I
be
mean,
slight home dogs to the Texans. They can't overcome that. No team's ever overcome that.
I mean, if you're gonna try Daniel Jones out there against that Texans defense that you said earlier had the craziest havoc rate, like he might die. And then you talk about Anthony Richardson, he needs to go get his CDL. Like he needs to drive trucks or do something else, because this football thing ain't for him, or at least at quarterback. So
I'm excited to see. I think we're going to see some red zone packages for Anthony Richardson this year. I actually think it could be kind of fun.
Well, hold on, guys. Don't put it all on Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. There's still Riley Leonard and Easton Stick. I think you run 4 deep right now, middle of August, right?
But this is the thing. We did the same thing last year, and I get that he's coming off of a major Achilles injury. But Gardner Minshew had this team on the verge of the playoffs a few years ago before the ball was dropped. Right? They were an above average team offensively with Gardner Minshew. Steichen has a pretty impressive track record. They got Rivers off the street, who hadn't played in 5 years. People are like, this is amazing. Wow, Rivers is actually doing some things. I mean, Shane Steichen again. The guy.
But it's novelty ball. He didn't win any goddamn football games. It was a novelty. I enjoyed it. It was great for the storylines. They lost.
2 to the Seahawks.
They lost.
They scored 21
to your
first
point,
half
they
goals
lost.
on the Niners.
to your point, the Colts were 3-7 in 1-score games, and then they did have some bad luck. I mean, you look at some of the games in which they led. The game against Kansas City, they probably should have won that game. They had winnable games that just did not go their way. So I can understand you taking a win total over, but for me personally, I think the quarterback room is a problem, and I think having those first 3 games, Baltimore, Kansas City, Houston, I can go under now and come back and get an over later. And that's my strategy with things. I like the middle things. So I think to start the season, I don't see them winning any of those games with their quarterback room the way it is now. Now, I think later on in the year is, if Danny Jones gets acquainted and they figure something out with Anthony Richardson or whoever they have in there, maybe they start to win some games. But initially, early on in the season, I'm fading them.
There was a time when the Colts quarterback was the class of the division. I don't know, a decade more. House Peyton Manning into Andrew Luck.
That's right.
Now you might be scraping the bottom of the barrel, Dabbundo, depending on how this goes.
I was naming some guys recently with my Colts fan friend Corey. It was just Monday night. We were chatting. Can you name every Colts quarterback that started since 2000? And when we went through all the names and then we pulled up the list, I'm not going to do it here.
Okay.
From 2000 to 2010, only one quarterback ever started a game for the Colts.
Yeah.
Now
Impressive.
It's like 3 or 4 every year.
He didn't need to retire. He really screwed all of us.
We didn't talk about the defense, by the way, right? They trade for Sauce Gardner. He
Right.
played 4 games. It was hurt.
Yeah.
Still a top 5 corner by all the metrics. Travarius Ward, questions about the concussion situation that he's had developing. But I really like Justin Wally, the nickel guy they brought in to replace Moore. They're younger defensively. Still questions about the pass rush. That's the main issue for this defense. That's why they have no real ceiling, and they never have under Bradley or Anarumo or Eberflus. Every defense they've had, they've never had a great pass rush from the edge. So they've been just like kind of average. But this to me looks like an average football team. So at 7.5, I'm going over. People forget, and they lost all those games at the end of the year. Their gauntlet they had to run at the end of the season was insane. They played Kansas City, Seattle, San Fran, both Houston and Jacksonville twice. That was their last 7 games.
It's similar
That's
to
about as tough
what
of a
Raheem
stretch
laid
you
out for the beginning of the season for them here. Yeah, no, you're
Yeah,
right.
their first
That's
11.
my case. I mean,
The first 11 is no picnic. I do take the point, and it's a good one by Dabbundo, that they have 2 outstanding cornerbacks if both those guys can play. I
Sure.
mean, if Ward and Sauce can play, then they were 31st in passing yards allowed per game, and they were 19th in yards allowed per pass attempt. So if there's any improvement in that way, but to me, that translates into exactly an 8-win team, which is me putting respect on Shane Steichen's name.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't even gone. Have I gone to you guys yet? Or it did? I can't even remember. House, did I go to you for a pick?
Yeah.
did.
It's an under. It's under 8.5
Everybody's
for
in.
me. That's
Everyone
easy.
did a lot of screaming, so it seems like their opinion is out there.
yeah.
Dabbundo, yeah, Lou Anarumo, Ben don't break defense. Year 2, right? All right, we'll see what goes on. So unders for House and Raheem at the 8.5 number, over for Dabbundo at the 7.5. And now we move on to Tennessee. The Titans, plus 430 to make the playoffs, plus 950 to win the division, 55 to 1 to win the conference, and 125 to 1 to be the 2026 Super Bowl champs. They posted a 3-14 record last year. Rookie season for Cam Ward. We saw some promising aspects. It was a rough one, but promising aspects of his passing game. Gets a little help this year through free agency and the draft. Wan'Dale Robinson, Carnell Tate, good additions. New coaching staff, Robert Saleh, Brian Dable, ZOC, Gus Bradley named DC. Looks good. But is it all enough to get them over 6.5? Can they double their 2025 win total, House, and then some?
Yeah, I think so. And this is mainly a bet that is based on the idea that they have some adults. I mean, they were an abject train wreck. They were abominable. I can't believe that if I don't know where Brian Callahan landed, if he's what assistant to the assistant job he has now, but he should never have anything in terms of that looks like genuine adult NFL responsibility again.
I got bad news, House. Well, good news for you, but bad news for Giants fans.
He landed.
He's the
now
quarterback's
the
coach.
passing game coordinator for the
Well,
Giants.
that's fine, right? It's like with some kind of second tier, third tier. Good
Working
luck to
under the
him.
Great Matt Nagy.
Oh,
Trade
man.
for Dable. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sal just mentioned it. They did make an effort to improve the talent around Cam Ward, but I think that there are 3 wins built in. They get a decent schedule. They're playing the 4th place schedule. The entirely new coaching staff. Saleh, for all of the fun we had with him as the head coach of the Jets, there was a marked difference in the Jets' defensive performance when he was unceremoniously ushered out the door. And those Jets defenses were kind of middle-ish with him as the coach there. I think he knows how to coach up a defense. I think there's that there's front 7 talent. So I like the idea of Tennessee making a step forward with some adults. And Brian Daboll in the perfect role, sitting alongside Cam Ward. That gets us to 7. Over 6.5 for House.
Over 6.5. Raheem, you agree?
Yes, I agree. I mean, this is all about Brian Callahan. At the end of the day, I mean, you're talking about a head coach who was 4-19 straight up, 7-16 against the spread. This guy has not been good. Like House said, you finally got some adults in the room. And I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at the like what Tennessee did last year. I mean, Cam Ward got sacked like 56 times. It's like, so
Yeah.
I think you're able to limit that. I think Brian Dable, we've seen what he's done with other quarterbacks. Now, a lot of people are going to criticize him and say he wasn't a good head coach, but that first year in New York, he took Daniel Jones to the playoffs, and that was at a time when nobody thought Daniel Jones was any good. You saw what he did with Josh Allen. I think he can make some improvement to Cam Ward, so I really like this over. I'm gonna save some other thoughts for later, but it would not surprise me if this is one of the worst to first teams, because every single year in the NFL, we see a worst to first. We see a team who just didn't do anything last year, worst team in the division, and they find a way to make a run. I think this could possibly be that team.
And Raheem is on a teal terror right now. He had the Panthers. Oh, the Titans teal? There's a little teal in there. I don't know. All right,
Yeah.
Dabbundo. Oh, wow. Dabbundo disagrees. Dabbundo is really just sticking his claw
on
in
Dabbundo
everything here.
Island now. Apparently,
You
I
really
think
are.
Tennessee will certainly be better, but this is a big jump. And again, I like this division. I know that the AFC South has been like the punching bag. Everybody makes fun of the teams. They're all a joke, and it's like the kind of clown car division. Pencil them in for the Shakey's game, but it's a good division with a lot of good players, and Tennessee has very few of them. I mean, this is a full rebuild from one of the worst teams in the modern recent 5 to 10 years of NFL football. Cam Ward offensive success rate was among the worst of all rookies in the last 10 years. Think there's a long way to go here. There were flashes, but he did take too many sacks. He did hold the ball too long. He did make a lot of high-risk plays. I don't think this offense is that close because they're not that skilled. This O-line, to me and to all the prognosticators, are still a bottom 5 unit. So you're not going to be able to rely on the run game. I think they're still a ways away, maybe a year away. I think this is like a 5-win team where they're a feisty 5 wins and we're saying, okay, things are looking up. But I think they're a year away from winning 7 because this division has 3 teams that I think are average at worst.
Yeah, I should have mentioned earlier, this division plays obviously their own division, and then they play the AFC North and the NFC East. And for example, the extra games for the Titans are the Jets at Detroit, not great, and at Las Vegas. So that compares favorably, obviously, to some of these other teams who have to play. Well, now I just lost it. Anyway, it's better for them. Trust me, it is. Buffalo, Chargers, Green Bay. That's kind of, that's what the Texans have to get through. Although with a
He
much
had a
better squad.
worse success rate than Zach Wilson as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
That would scare me.
Yeah.
Anytime
He
you're
did.
worse than Zach Wilson.
Most of his touchdown passes came at the end of the year. I think 10 of the 15 or something were in the last few games or so, 7 or 8 games or so. All right, let's do it, Raheem. Boy, I can't wait to hear. Although I think I know what's going on here. Division winner, Houston plus 115. Jacksonville to repeat is plus 220. Indianapolis plus 360. And Tennessee plus 950. Hit us with the bomb, Raheem.
Yes, I'm taking the Titans plus 950 to win the division. And
Wow.
look, Houston is the rightful favorite. If you want a sure shot bet, yes, you should take Houston. But what did I say earlier about Houston? What did I say earlier about Indianapolis? They got tough schedules to start the year. The Titans, they opened up with the Jets. Then obviously you got Philly, that's a little tougher. But you got the Giants. I think that span right there, maybe they go 2-1. And I think the big thing that you have to do with these futures is that it's not always about trying to win the future. It's about building a position and getting the best of the number. So I think you grab that plus 950 and maybe this gets cut in half. Maybe you find yourself in a situation to where maybe that Houston offensive line didn't improve. And, the offense is just still bad. Maybe you find yourself in a position to where the Colts, they don't have a quarterback. Maybe you find yourself in a position to where the Jaguars, they have so much turnover regression and the offense doesn't make up for it. So I don't really see a ton of value of grabbing the plus 100 on Houston because the offense still has question marks. And I don't see any value with anybody else. So to me, I think this is a good opportunity to just grab the plus 950. I know it's a lottery ticket. They need a lot of work. But I've seen Robert Saleh. He's turned bad defenses into good defenses. And I've seen Brian Daboll. I've seen his work with Daniel Jones his opening year in New York. So I'm taking a little flyer. I mean, it doesn't have to be a very big bet. You can put some beer money on it, $20, $50, $100, whatever beer money is for you. You can take a flyer on it. And, maybe we have an opportunity down the line to buy out of that position.
Well, looking at them, we've been isolating 3 games, right? This is kind of what we've been doing. So looking at those first 3, your point is it's not going to be less than plus, it's not going to be greater than 950 after 3 games. Jets, open up against the Jets, Robert Saleh, that's fun. Home against the Eagles, winnable, I think. At the Giants, Dable coming back. So this is fun. A lot of energy, a lot of, revenge factors there in those first 3 games. And I agree. I don't think it'll be plus 950 going into week 4 for sure. All right. You playing it a little safer, House?
Yeah, I mean, I admire what Dream is doing. If this number was like in the 12-1 range for Tennessee, then I would probably piggyback off of him, but I'm not doing anything less than 10-1. There are variables that should swing in Tennessee's favor in terms of, they were completely ineffective on 3rd downs when they had a chance to kick field goals or whatever. 31st in penalties that they gave up. They didn't intercept the ball very much. All those variables, work in Dream's favor in terms of grabbing the ticket, but I needed juicier. This Houston to win the division number was up north of plus 130 earlier in the summer. That's when I got down on it. I still think they're going to win the division. I put my stake in it. I think that this team, it's very weird that I don't see people screaming from the mountaintops how poised I think they are. And I think a lot of that has to do with CJ Stroud last season, being pinged for kind of middling efficiency on offense, but no Tank Dell and no running game whatsoever, and they didn't really have a plan B at that running game position. So I like Houston to come in and win this division at whatever the price is, as long as it remains at plus money. That's a good bet for me.
No, you're right. It was plus 135 when I started working on my document here in early July, and now everybody. I know you give thumbs up, but we lost money, House, so now it's plus 110.
I didn't. I mean, respectfully,
yes, okay.
we're just taping when we tape, and the price is the price. It's still plus money.
We're taping when they tape. Now I'm infatuated with these first 3 games, Dabbundo, and I know you because according to the outline, you agree with House. It's going to be Houston, but kind of a tough opening 3: Buffalo, Cincinnati, and at Indy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be on in week 1 as well. I'm not going to say what the line is, but good chance I'm on the Texans in week 1.
Great restraint. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. I got to get used to this. But, I think there's a good way to kind of bet the NFL is to always think, who is the player, coach, team everybody's piling on? And is that now a worthy time to maybe buy the dip and buy low? And when you see like the Mike Sando QB tiers, which is again a poll of executives and coaches around the league who are as prone to groupthink as anybody else in the media, as any fan, all these guys and girls who get paid to do this are just like us, are biased and can be biased by what we just watched. And Stroud being down there at 20th, I have been probably more anti CJ Stroud than anybody. Texans fans don't like me. I make fun of their offense all the time. I've been doing this since his rookie year. I said he was overrated then. And now everybody, like, I might be the high man on CJ Stroud. Is that where we're at now, where this has come all the way around? So I do feel like he's still a pretty above average quarterback, and people are talking like he's a bum. Yes, he stunk in the playoffs. Yes, he sucked, and the pressure definitely wilted him. And that happened in college at times too. But this is still a quarterback that has put up pretty impressive seasons and pretty consistently above average seasons. Again, just don't get biased by a couple of games in the playoffs. Look at what he's done in the regular season. And this has been a quarterback that has done enough to warrant the previous claim he had, right? The previous praise. So I'm going to go Texans as well. I think they have
I mean, you say don't be biased or just be consistent. Like, I know Drake May had a fantastic regular season against, junior college teams, defenses, but he also really, really shit the bed in the playoffs. So why is this all on Stroud? Can't recover from having a bad playoffs, but whatever. Drake maybe is going to pick up week 16. Yeah, exactly. All right. You can see where my bias is.
Well, I mean, I'm on both teams, so I guess I'm just throwing out the playoffs completely, and we'll do the AFC West in a couple of weeks, or I guess on Monday, maybe next week. And, Justin Herbert kind of falls into that conversation as well. another quarterback who hasn't had a ton of playoff success, but we still
No
really
doubt.
like. So
No doubt. All right.
the
let's
question is,
do
what's their ceiling? How many teams in the AFC would you guys take over the Texans if you had to draft the Super Bowl champion? Throw out the odds. Draft the the AFC champion right now. How many teams would you take over the Texans?
Not too many.
I'm not sure if there's any team I would take right now.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I love Houston. I have no problem at all with the conference odds or the Super Bowl odds.
Well, but then to Dabundo's point, there are not 5 teams better, and that's how FanDuel has it, right? Odds-wise? 5
Yeah, that's-
teams
FanDuel
ahead of
has
Houston?
5
That's
teams
wrong.
ahead of Houston. Buffalo,
That's wrong.
Baltimore, New England,
Nope,
LA,
nope,
Chargers,
nope.
and Chiefs.
No,
I gotta see more from
Now,
the
a lot of
Chiefs.
these are
the
pretty,
Chiefs.
pretty even.
Yeah, the
But-
Chiefs are about the same, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of, I got to see more from the quarterback. The Chiefs, well, we'll get to it on Monday whenever we're doing that. All right, let's hit the division.
People are real quick.
Yeah.
One more note. People are penciling in, right? Baltimore, Buffalo to be elite offenses again. You always take the elite offense over the elite defense in the case of consistency year to year. But I felt like this Texans defense is about as sure of a bet as I felt about any defense in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. All right, let's do player props from this AFC South. Raheem, we'll start with you because you're a little bit different than everybody else here.
Yeah, I'm going Trevor Lawrence over 3,750 and a half passing yards. I think this is really, really low. And, you look at what he did last year. He threw for 4,000 yards. He's thrown for 4,000 yards in 3 out of his 5 seasons. And the only other times he didn't throw for 4,000 yards was his rookie season and then 2024 when he only played 10 games. And now I think he has a ton of weapons. Like I said before, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers. I think the Jacoby Myers trade, that was the thing that really turned this Jaguars offense upside down. I think they were scoring like 34 points a game after he got traded there. And I do think Travis Hunter is going to be a difference maker this year. So I think they have plenty of weapons. I think Liam Coleman has developed an offense there to where Trevor Lawrence should be playing like an MVP candidate at the very least, getting 4,000 yards. So 3,750 is low.
How about this, Raheem, that you have to add this in your analysis? No quarterback had more passes dropped on him than Trevor Lawrence last year. Did you say that? I mean, he is, where is
I
he?
feel like that's been the trend for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gotten killed
Absolutely.
by his receivers
I mean,
for years.
specifically
Crazy.
Brian Thomas, he can't catch the ball.
36
Yeah,
passes.
he had a little bit of
league
alligator
leading
arms
drops.
going on last year. It was pretty bad
Yeah.
on tape.
There you go. All right. Now we are members of the mutually exclusive Nico Collins fan club here, it seems. Joe House and Dabbundo have positive props in Nico Collins' favor. What's yours, House?
Yeah, to be fair, I did get mine in the outline ahead of
Of
Dabbundo,
course.
but I love it when Dabbundo and I are on the same page. This might be the first pick of 3 shows that Dabbundo and I actually agree on. I'm just doing a simple one. Nico Collins over 1,050 and a half receiving yards. That implies 62 yards per game. Well, last year, Nico had 1,100 yards in 15 games. That's 73 yards per game. In 2024, he had 1,000 yards in 12 games. That's 83 yards per game. 2023, 1,300 yards, 86 yards per game. And what this is really getting at is this addition of David Montgomery to this offense and a complete offense with Nick Caley in his bag, able to trot out the weapons that he imagines. And I love the idea of Collins with the return of Tank Adele. I think it frees him up a bit. Now, only second to Puka last year in yards per route run, Nico Collins. I feel like this number is low at 1050.5. There's an implied kind of he's going to miss a couple games because that's been the tendency. I think it's a good buffer. I think we get there with the 17-game schedule. So over 1,050 and a half receiving yards at minus 114, a very fair price.
Dabbundo, not only do you think House is correct on this assessment, but you are taking it 50, 60, 70 levels higher than this. What's your pick here for Nico Collins?
Yeah, I threw a little long shot on Collins to win Offensive Player of the Year. We talked about this offense's big issue last year was they couldn't run the ball ever. First down, goal line. What if they just tried to pass a little more, right? Just a little, like Nick Caley. Like let's see some ingenuity. Let's see some creativity, because this team has an elite receiver who every year of his career has been top 10 in yards per route run amongst wide receivers. He is not on the level of what Nakua and Smith and Jigba did last year, and that's why the price is what it is. But he is not far behind the level of prime Tyreek Hill when he was at his best. He's not that far behind what CeeDee Lamb did last year. He was better than Drake London, better than George Pickens, better than Jamar Chase in yards per route run. So he's right there. But when you handicap your offense by having so many 1st and 10 runs and then getting into so many 3rd and longs and all the situations where he was kind of the only guy, and you just doubled him or keyed in on him and then said, all right, can Noel beat us? Can Hutchinson beat us? The answer was no. Then this offense kind of got stuck. But if they're more aggressive and more willing to take risk early in downs, I think that opens up Collins in a huge way. So I'm going to go Collins, OPOY. I agree with House, of course. It seems like House, we finally found a team we agree on.
We did it. Good job,
Texans.
AD.
Yeah, here we are.
So the 45-1 is the number for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Just out of curiosity, what do his numbers have to look like to be in the conversation?
Probably 1,500 yards.
And
Yeah,
how many
and then
catches?
how many
130 catches? And
9 or 10 to put him in the mix.
I don't know if 1,400 is enough.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because you got guys like Puka just getting force fed. Like so,
Yeah,
it's like
some rookies coming on. Yeah,
Yeah,
might get close to that.
You need like 1,800 as a receiver these days.
Yeah, good times. All right, listen. We have a request from Bill Simmons, who is watching us and listening to us. I know this for a fact because he sent a picture of us. And by the way, if you're a friend and you want to prove that you watch us, the only proof I will accept is a picture. And he took a picture of us in the 4-box and he wrote yes. And I think he's in the chat. I'm not sure. But yeah, there you go. He's in. We look good, by the way. I'm looking at this picture. I'm glad I washed this T-shirt. But he has a request for alternate win totals for a division parlay. And I'm going to let you guys do it. And all that he asks is that it be plus 150 or greater and that you try to pick different teams. Raheem, let's start with yours.
I'm going with Jaguars under 7.5 wins plus 180. We already spoke about the turnover regression. I think that's a huge part of this. We already spoke about the 1-score games. That defense regresses. The sky's the limit on where this win total could end up. So I'm going under 7.5 plus 180.
All right. That's a good one. Dabbundo, we'll save yours because you ruin it. But House, let's hear yours.
Well,
wait a second.
This is
You'll let everyone know.
All Houston All the Time podcast here on this Friday, August the 14th. So I'm playing Houston over 11.5 wins plus 210. That is them getting the same number of wins as they had last year at better than 2-1 odds. And schedule wise, yes, the first handful of games are tough, but they kind of kick the ass of Buffalo and they kind of kick the ass of Cincinnati. And I kind of like them maybe coming out 3-0 to start the season because defense ahead of offense at the beginning of the season, especially that defense, and then their schedule between weeks 5 and 15, bunch of nobodies. I think it really sets up well for them to go on a run. Let's get to 12 wins at better than 2-1 odds, plus 210 for Houston.
All right. Those are two respectable picks. And now it would be nice, but we have to make a parlay here. So any loser ruins it. And here it comes.
Colts have not won 10 games since Carson Wentz era football.
Oh, man.
Oh, goody.
Good Lord.
What an intro.
There is upside for this team. And I understand, again, why everybody's skeptical. And I could be accused of being a homer. Sure. 2 years ago, I did have a Colts under. So I'm not like against going against my team. But again, this is a bet purely on the respect that Shane Steichen has earned, on the belief that this younger defense is going to take a step up and be right around league average, if not a little better. And that as a result of that, this team can win that 10th game, that mythical 10th game that has avoided this franchise like the plague. They can't quite escape it. But I think at 2-1, I'm willing to take a chance on it this year. Also because House took the Texans before I could take the pick, so I had to pick a different team.
Dabbundo, did you purposely wear that blue Under Armour shirt? for today because it feels like you're in Colts like uniform.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. I have a couple of jerseys. I have a Richardson jersey that I thought about putting on. I have a Tyler Warren jersey that Austin Gale bought for me that I thought about wearing, but I wanted to keep it professional. But I wanted to still signal to my boys. Hashtag for the
He
shoe.
kept it
Right.
professional until the Colts double-digit win prediction. All right. So if you do parlay it, and we're not saying maybe you should, Houston over 11.5, Jags under 7.5, Colts over 9.5. That pays plus 1944, which I think is the last time the Colts won 10 games. Is that what you said? Well,
Yep.
There you go. Now, Dabbundo, I want you to go through the chat here. There might be I gave him a little time to respond to this Colts pick. Do you see Bill Simmons in there? Sports Guy 33.
Yeah. Should Dabbundo move to LA? Ooh.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Are there
Not after
odds?
that pick. No.
I mean, look, Colts faithful. When you move to LA, can you room with Anthony Richardson? Yeah, that's a good point. Where's he going to be this year?
The two
Do they have
Anthony's
do they have a
bunking
UFL
together.
team?
Oh, I like that.
I think they do have a UFL team. I actually don't know, but
What
that
else
might be
has
where
he
he's
said?
playing next.
He asked us to pivot to the Hornets over 39.5 wins.
Go
God.
off yourself. Get the
Somebody's
hell
trying to
outta
murder
here.
cousin Sal. Don't
Go
do
for a
it.
walk. You know what? I hope he falls into a manhole
The
on his
Hornets
walk
did
here
play
while
at a
listening to us.
50-win pace last year.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Got rid of LaMelo Ball, so
Oh, man.
I'm gonna
He
be
was
able to
kidding,
do it.
Raheem. He was kidding. He was joking.
Okay.
He wasn't joking. That's the sad part. Is that it? What else from the sports guy? Dabbundo?
Let's see here. 2-year anniversary for the podcast when House said Frank Reich was the best coach in the NFC South.
That is a flat.
We did a
There are
whole
receipts.
Frank
We
Reich-
can find the audio. I did not say it that way.
We did a whole
my
Frank
God.
Reich discussion, his arc from great coach to quickly washed with no plan B.
I said there was
honestly
an
record time.
argument to be made that the combination of Reich and whoever was the terrible quarterback that he was paired with, you could argue that that combination was the best in that division. It didn't work out that way. That's fine.
Somebody
All of
asked-
that was Baker at the time, right?
Oh, but probably.
No, well, Frank Reich they drafted young, wasn't it?
Who
Pretty
can
sure they drafted
who
Bryce
can
Young
say?
when Frank
Who
Reich
can
was there, and they
remember?
fired
Oh, yeah.
Frank Reich.
ancient
Very early
ancient
on, it was a
history?
disaster. Yeah.
Ancient history. We don't need to relive this.
This makes me look like an a-hole here, but it's from Simmons. Sal, is it true you ordered a Diet Coke at a $700 person omakase dinner with matched wines? No, it is not true, wise ass. I ordered a Coke Zero, and they said, no, we have Diet Coke. So there you go. Thank you.
Try.
But I wasn't the one shamed. He was shamed for crossing off truffles from the dinner. And it wasn't $700. I don't want to make us feel like jerks here. All right.
I have
Dabbundo, you moving to LA?
notes. Number
Yeah,
one,
go ahead.
House, thank you to giving Austin the food recommendation. He got me
Oh,
a gift
yeah.
card to Fiorella in Philly, which I
Oh,
had
phenomenal.
last night with my lovely girlfriend. We had a great dinner. great
Yeah, you
pasta.
did. Yeah, you did.
Second thing, the car. I got a call from State Farm on Monday. The car is officially totaled.
Totaled. Good.
Oh, it is.
Congratulations.
Are you happy? That's
There was a lot
Congrats.
of damage underneath the car from
Yeah, there was.
the not having wheels part. And I put the claim in for the golf clubs as well. So things are looking up. Things
What
are looking
about
up.
male
We're getting-
balls?
We're getting
Male golf
reimbursed.
balls. Yeah.
Those I did not include in the expense report that I'll be
You
filing.
didn't
this
include
evening.
them when we played on Tuesday either.
love it.
Daggy J35 says Matt Ryan, Frank Reich with the Colts. Yes, that was 2022, AFC South. They fired Frank midseason and then brought in the great Jeff Saturday. That was another time when I was down on the Colts when Matt Ryan and the Texans tied in week 1, and we had some hope back then. But
Me
yeah.
too.
What do you mean?
Been
You
a tough-
have hope
tough
this year. You're betting them to win 10 games. You better have hope.
Absolutely.
It sounds like hope.
I
Yeah.
have hope.
House, I forgot. That was 2 summers ago. Our text chain was loaded up with Frank Reich jokes all of August because you were either misinterpreted what you said or you. Was
I
right
tried
on.
to make the case for something. It didn't work out. I accept. I accept. I took the L. I took it then, and I continue to take it for some reason.
You'll be able to do it again. I'm sure Frank Reich will be back.
He is
Coaching
back.
Position. No, I know.
Yeah,
in the head
Jets
coaching
offensive
position.
coordinator Frank Reich, 2.5
I
point
love
dog.
Oh my God! He doesn't get like he can't stop. Like, what's the problem?
Oh man.
I gotta be stopped.
Enough.
Just gonna
I
duct tape
wonder
my
if we
mouth
can
shut
mute
for the
him.
rest
Is
of the
there
podcast.
a thing on Twitch where we can mute Dabbundo when he launches into week 1 lines? I mean, it's just 3 more weeks for this. All right, we'll figure it out. Hey, plays of the day. I won mine yesterday. Yours was good, Raheem, because your team just didn't show up at all. So it's like you didn't have to sweat it out.
That's the best
right?
way to lose.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's just like it just never was a game. So I think it was like 7-0 Nationals, and just was over.
Yeah. There you go.
But
All
the
right.
football plays hit, so I'm gonna stick with football today.
That was nice.
There we
Do it.
go.
Hit us up. You got a
We're
couple
gonna go with
here.
I'm giving out 2 plays. We giving out one for today and one for tomorrow because I know y'all thirsty for football. But today we're gonna go with the Falcons plus 3.5 and get plus 4. That's great. I really like the Falcons. We know that there's a little bit of a lot of, not really a quarterback controversy, but yeah, I mean, you got 2 out there. Behind him, you got Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is gonna see a lot of playing time. Me and Sal know a lot about Cooper Rush, so you get Cooper Rush in the preseason. You probably got one of the best quarterbacks in the league as far as like preseason. So
Preseason hero. Hey, that's valuable. That's
yeah, we're
valuable.
gonna go with Cooper Rush and the Falcons plus 3.5. Tomorrow, we're gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's minus 3.5 at this point in time because if you look at their quarterback room, they got Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton. So at this point in time, when it comes to preseason, we're just playing the quarterbacks and we're playing
That's
depth.
it.
That's all it's
That's
about.
all.
Raheem, you had a
All
great
right.
post the other day about how they should just film the joint practices
Yeah.
because those feel like the real games. And I was thinking about this because New England plays Philly next week. And I would love to just get a filmed practice of A.J. Brown going up against
Oh, yeah.
the Eagles. That's what we all want.
Mm.
I don't even think A.J. Brown's really going to play in the game.
You know
Yeah.
what?
So
That's
the only time to see that is the practice.
That's
And
actually
maybe not even then.
That
Yeah.
leads me into a good handicapping tip. If you're betting preseason, one of the things that you can do is read the beat writers and what they're saying about the joint practices. A lot of times, if you see one team dominating in practice, the other team wants their get back when the actual game plays. And if you see that team, sometimes there's teams where like, you know what, we dominated these dudes in practice. We don't have to go all out. So that's one of the angles that I like to look for as well.
Oh, that seems even more confusing now. You would think the dominating team would just dominate. You can't even count on it.
No.
No.
Oh,
They get fat and happy style. They get lazy. Take
Okay.
a step off. You know.
All right. Sit down, have a Diet Coke. All right, House, baseball. Let's hit the
Yeah.
diamond.
Baseball guy. I'm playing Houston on the money line. It's minus 120 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. 2 teams headed in different directions. Houston's playing the Mariners. The Mariners have scored 2 runs or less in 6 of their last 7 games. This is a good matchup for the Astros starter Peter Lambert, who has an ERA under 2.3 in his last 7 starts. And the bullpen for Houston's coming around. Under 1.5 ERA over the last 2 weeks. Of course, you know, the Mariners have Kirby going and he's solid, but his last 9 road games, an ERA over 4 runs, and he hasn't been going over 6 innings very often. Seattle's bullpen is really the basis for this bet. And so at minus 120, Houston take care of business against Seattle tonight. That's the way to get it done.
All right, there you go. Dabbundo, you want to lead? You want to finish here, or you want me to go?
You go.
Okay, it ends up being the same thing. Yes. All right. Brewers. I bought them at plus 152 up to plus 158 against the Dodgers. Big win by the Brew Crew last night. That makes 75, the most wins in the majors. Now plus 300 to get that 1 seed, Raheem. We talked about it yesterday, right? Why are they a 58 underdog? I'm not buying into this Dodger mystique. Yamamoto's given up 4 home runs in his last 5 starts, and Robert Gasser on the other side for the Brewers has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 3 of his last 4 on the road. Brewers 8-1 their last 9 that Gasser has started. Too many problems with this Dodgers team. Listen, of course they're going to be a threat and everything else in October. I think they right the ship, but right now, Edwin Diaz now blown 3 saves in his last 4 appearances. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. That's all I do is laugh at that. I'm not sure he sees the field tonight, but give me Milwaukee with that nice plus number right in there, 152, 158. They take their 2nd straight in Chavez Ravine. 5-3 final. Dabbundo, get back on the winning side here.
It's funny. The Dodgers have like 2 healthy, good relievers now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same thing as last year, where they're shuffling all their starters into the bullpen for the playoffs again, like Sasaki and maybe Glass now. because it's. I
It
mean,
scares me
Diaz
that the owner has now more money to buy a middle reliever somehow from the Lakers sale. Is that scary? I don't know.
Yeah, they're breaking baseball. Apparently, they keep losing, but they did break the sport.
Right.
They keep losing. They've lost 8 out of 12 since the trade. I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Pirates plus 115 at home. I actually don't mind the under here either. We've got two very rested bullpens coming off of dominant performances yesterday, but I think Chandler continues to be underrated by the market. He has underperformed his peripherals. The strikeouts haven't really been as good as the stuff says it should be for Chandler, but I think this is a favorable matchup for him. Boston's offense has cooled off a bit from its dominant run here, but really this line should be a toss-up, so I'm going to take the plus 115.
Should I wait 3 Mississippi to see if Simmons is commenting on you betting against his Red Sox? I mean, you really ran the gamut here.
I know, just homer and hating. And somebody on Twitter accused me of being a Red Sox homer yesterday because I put them ahead of the Yankees in the power rankings that I did. And
so
I was
now you
like,
have
if
to
only
go the
they
other
knew
way.
that I don't give a crap about either team.
Gotcha. All right, fellas, we did it. Anything else? Did I miss anything, House?
Oh,
Go ahead,
Raheem?
we
Raheem.
did miss the sports guy. Our very own Bill Simmons said Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indianapolis, exact order pays 8-1 on FanDuel Sportsbook. So if y'all want to get that for the division exact order, go grab that FanDuel Sportsbook.
What was the exact order?
Houston,
You're in last.
Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Indianapolis. Indy is last
I don't like
place.
that. No good. Wouldn't shock
That's
me.
interesting because you figured
see
8
that
to
one.
1 too.
It's a good price.
Oh God, I don't want to
It's a
have
good
so many
price.
AFC South bets going in. I just don't want to.
The Colts have simultaneously been the most consistent 8 or 9 win team in the NFL for like 4 straight years, while also because of the Jones situation, the error bars on like how the season could go.
Right.
We're in agreement.
Go.
We're in agreement.
8 to 1 odds there. All right, we will be back to do the AFC West and the NFC East next week, and then Tate and I are going to hit the Big 12 and the SEC and Notre Dame because we have to. That's all next week on Ringer Wise Guys, and that's going to do it for another episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting on Twitch. For Raheem Palmer, Joe House, Anthony Dabbundo, a.k.a. Tony Tokens, I'm Sal saying so long and happy handicapping. Ringer Wise Guys is brought to you by FanDuel. Before the football season begins, every team is undefeated. Every fan believes this could be the year their team wins a division, makes the playoffs, lifts the trophy. And with FanDuel, you can bet on any of it, from who will win it all and division winners to season win totals and playoff futures. FanDuel has all the ways to bet on the season before it even begins. Get your football futures bets in today on FanDuel. Cowboys to take down the other 31 teams, 22 to 1. Sure, why not? Have some fun. Visit FanDuel.com/wiseguys to get started. You have to be 21 or older in select states or 18 or older in D.C. or Wyoming. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. You must be 21 or older and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE/NY or text HOPE New York in New York. For Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867.